Hi children, welcome to the class. Today we will discuss on chapter 5, Women Change the World, video 2. The topics are Learning for Change, Schooling Today, Women's Movement. Children, in 19th century only, there is changes occurred in the education system. Like more and more children from poor backgrounds, rural backgrounds started going to school. The interior regions, especially the communities which are in the tribal regions, all these people started going to school during this century. Now this time also there were problems for girls to go to school because parents don't support girls to go to school in the interior part of India. You all know education gives us the power to dream. So there were girls like Rashundari Devi and Rukeya, the story is given in your textbook. They were actually struggling to learn or get education. Even though they are born in very good royal families, these girls were not given a chance to go to schools. The reason what they said in the autobiography is, when girls study, they bring bad luck to their house and they become widow. That was the superstitious belief that time created by the parents. So these girls were not given a chance to study. So here one story is given about Rashundari Devi in page number 60. Page number 60, the story is saying about how this girl, she's not a girl actually, the story was written about when she was 60, she wrote her autobiography Amar Jeeban. She is a Bengali. Amar Jeeban means my life. So Amar, my life, Jeeban. So she has written that she was not get a chance to go to school. After her marriage, she had a great longing to learn or read what the Chaitanya Bhagavat, a manuscript, a religious manuscript. So she, what she has done is, she took a page from her husband's Chaitanya Bhagavat book and she kept, she hid it properly. And she had a page of her son's alphabet also. So slowly she started matching the words and she learned how to read. This was done with great effort because nobody should see what she is doing. No one should allow her to read. So this was the story of Rashundari Devi. She wanted to read Chaitanya Bhagavat and what she has done, my eldest son was practicing his alphabets at that time. She had a copy of that also. Together she matched and learned this and then after a long time she struggled to learn this Chaitanya Bhagavat. So this was the case of Rashundari Devi. The girls or during that time, the case of girls during that time was like this. And there was one more story given of Rukeya Sakhawat Hussain and her dreams about Lady Land. Here she can learn her own language, Urdu, her mother tongue she was allowed to learn, but English or Bangla, that was not allowed to learn, because what they think that time is, if girls learn English, they'll get new ideas. And that was not allowed during that time. So these stories you can read about freedom struggle of women to fight against discrimination about them. Here learning for change, you need to underline from textbook. In the 19th century, many ideas about education and learning emerged. In the 19th century, many ideas about education and learning emerged. Schools became more common. Lot of opportunities were there in sending girls to school. Lots of opposition were there to sending girls to school. These 3 points you have to mark. And now opposition, you can give this examples, story of Rashundari Devi and Lakshmi, Rukeya Sakhawat. Now schooling and education today, when we go to that topic, schooling and education, both boys and girls attend school in large numbers in today's world. The percentage of male group is still higher than the female group. There is a chart given here, schooling and education, page number 62, you can go through that, like male percentage is higher than female compared in the last few years studies. Now there are several reasons why children from Dalit, Adivasi and poor background children, why they leave the school. There was a fact given here. There are three reasons for this. First one is, in rural areas there are no proper schools. In rural regions there are no proper school. First point, and there is not enough teachers to teach in these regions. The problem is, in the rural regions like West Bengal, you heard of the name Sundarban region, yes, the largest delta. In this region, one of my friends, she went there in a school to teach. She got a government job and she went there. She has got a mud house to stay. And 2 days she stayed there. The third day, there was a threat from like the Bengal tigers are there in those regions. So villagers said that yesterday they saw a Bengal tiger over there, and the girl got afraid. She said, I don't want this job, better to leave the job and come back. So she has joined back in our CBSE school in Calcutta. So she said, these things happen in the interior part of the country. So even though there is a government appointment, people are not willing to go to schools in these regions because there are lack of transportation facilities. There is lack of transportation facilities, there is no proper house to stay. Most of the time there will not be any current and threat from wild animals. So for all these reasons, there is no proper schooling done in the rural areas. So you can mark in this page number 62, there are several reasons why children from Dalit, Adivasi and Muslim communities leave school. Underline the first point, no proper schools, no teachers who teach on a regular basis. Teachers are not there to teach on a regular basis. Then if the school is not near to their home, there is no transportation like buses or vans. They have to walk 5 kilometers, 6 kilometers, not possible for the children. So no proper vehicles to go to school. Then many families are too poor to bear the cost of educating their children. Okay. So here what they do, they only send their boy child to school, okay, and there is also discrimination on the basis of caste. We have studied about the Valmiki, yes, in the last chapter, Om Prakash Valmiki's story we studied. There it was said that he was discriminated on the basis of caste. So some areas caste problems still exist. So children from, even boys, they don't want to go to school because they are discriminated on the basis of caste. So these points are important, you need to mark this. Next is women's movement. So how women change the world, that is our topic. So women, in order to fight against all this discrimination, what they done, they have developed several strategies to spread awareness, fight discrimination and seek justice. In order to seek justice, what they done, women, individual and collective struggle made by women in order to change the discrimination, against them is known as women's movement. So they were not treated equally in India. Yes, not only in the ancient times, now also there is problem exists in the rural areas of Rajasthan. Still they don't allow their girl children to go to school. In the interior part, we are not talking about the cities or urban regions. In the interior part of the country, still there is problem that girl child was not allowed to go to school. So women collectively and individually, they fought against this discrimination. So this was done through different methods that we are going to study now. Different methods used by women to change their discrimination, to fight against the discrimination were, first one campaigning, second one raising awareness, third one protesting, fourth one showing solidarity. So children, go to page number 63, women's movement, you need to underline. Last paragraph, women's movement, women individually and collectively have struggled to bring about changes through different strategies, that is given in the last line, through different strategies such as spreading awareness, fighting discrimination against them and seek justice. That also you need to underline. So in order to bring the changes in their life, this struggle is known as women's movement. So you have to form the answer like that. The collective and individual movement done by women to fight against discrimination among against them is known as women's movement. So first one is campaigning. So campaigning, first campaigns were done to fight discrimination. With this campaigns, what happened? Several laws were passed in India. So first one from that is page number children 64, page number 64. Campaigns led to new laws being passed. Underline, a law was made in 2006 to give women who face physical and mental violence within their homes are called domestic violence some legal protection. So legal protection against domestic violence, like domestic violence means what? Girls were ill treated by their parents, parents means in-laws. When they go to husband's house, girls were ill treated by their husband as well as the in-laws over there. Then these domestic violence was not to stop this mental and physical violence. There was a law passed in 2006, underline. Similarly, in 1997, Supreme Court formulated guidelines to protect women against sexual harassment at the workplace and within educational institutions. So anyone, if they are sexually harassed, government has passed laws to protect, and there were very like punishments were become very harsh so that people won't do such activities. So that was done in the year 1997. These laws have been passed, and these laws are actually amended also. In the last few years, when there was a bad case occurred in India, these laws have been amended also. Okay, amended means changes have done in this constitution, these laws. Next one is dowry deaths. Dowry means what? Giving money. When a girl gets married, they have to pay, the parents have to give like gold and then property to the girl. So this dowry, if it's not given properly, they were burned to death in the interior part of India. So many cases have been reported. So this case we already know in Kerala also. In the last few years, last few months only, we have listened to such stories. So dowry does also punishment become very harsh. In the 1980, women's group across the country spoke about this dowry death cases of young brides being murdered by their in-laws or husbands greedy for more dowry. Dowry means any kind of money or property or gold, whatever they ask for, car, whatever they ask for. Women's groups spoke out against this failure to bring these cases to justice. They did so by coming to the streets, approaching the courts, and by sharing information. So you can underline there, in the 1980s, women group across the country spoke out against dowry death, and there were laws were changed to punish families who seek dowry. So government has implemented more and more laws to seek or punish families who seek dowry. Next is raising awareness. An important part of women's movement work is to raise public awareness on women right issues. Most of the cases women are not aware of their rights. So here they do what? They spread this through street plays, songs and public meetings. So public meetings were called, street plays were done so that women can understand about their rights, women's rights. Underline that point. Next one is protesting. The women movement raises its voice when violations against women take place. For example, when a law or policy act against their interest, public rallies and demonstrations are very powerful way of drawing attention to injustice. You know, when public rallies and demonstrations are held, more and more people will look into that matter. Yes, so this was also done to raise awareness and for getting more and more justice for women. Protesting was also done. The last one is showing solidarity. The women's movement is also about showing solidarity with other women and causes. Here there is an example given here. Women are holding up candles to demonstrate the solidarity between the people of India and Pakistan. So to support each other, women have showed solidarity, that we are there for each other. So this way, campaigns, raising awareness, protesting, showing solidarity, women change their lifestyle, or women ask for their justice for fighting against the discrimination done against them. Okay. So children, please go through the chapter well. Here meanings are given here: stereotype, discrimination, violation, sexual harassment. Please go through the glossary, underline all the important points. I hope you all understood the chapter well. Thank you children, have a nice day.